think that it's important to understand the vantage point of a senator versus the vantage point of a president. When you're a senator, traditionally what's happened is this is always a lousy vote. Nobody likes to be tagged as having increased the debt limit for the United States by $1 trillion. As president, you start realizing, you know what, we can't play around with this stuff.
Dershowitz, you disagree with this. You're in favor of these interrogation techniques. Where is the line drawn as far as you're concerned?
Well, first of all, I think waterboarding is torture. I don't condone the use of torture, but where I fundamentally disagree with the Colonel is I believe that torture sometimes works. It was Leon Panetta who said today on another news channel that it was waterboarding and other methods of enhanced interrogation that led...
If it works, should you use it?
Well, I don't think it should be used, but I think we ought to know that we are sacrificing a great deal. We probably would not have gotten Osama bin Laden if we had completely complied with all of our treaty obligations. What we did is we waterboarded, that helped us. We wiretapped without warrants, that helped us. We invaded a foreign country, that helped us. We probably shot a man who was not resisting in cold blood. That resulted in the targeted killing. We did a great many things that compromise our legal situation, and we have to have a great debate. What we shouldn't do is believe, I think, the Pollyannish view that these things don't work.
No, I get it, but I'm a bit confused where you sit on this debate. Are you in favor of it then or not?
I am not in favor of it, but I understand why many Americans would favor of it. What I'm not in favor of completely is denying the reality that these work, that when we apply the Constitution, we give up efficiency and effectiveness. What the Colonel is suggesting is there's a free lunch. You can comply completely with the highest standards of all of these rules, and you have no loss of efficiency. That is simply a false statement. Let's then acknowledge that when we comply with these treaties, we're going to be the only country in the world that does it. Every country tortures, every country would torture.
But that doesn't mean that it's the wrong thing to do. I mean, when you're fighting a moral war, as we have been against Saddam Hussein, against Osama bin Laden, when we position ourselves as better people,
that's right,
then surely we have to behave in a better way, don't we?
And we have to pay the consequences. And the consequences mean that we do not catch Osama bin Laden, that we do not prevent certain preventable acts of terrorism. If we're prepared to pay those prices, then we are really a better country. We are not a better country if we pretend to be prepared to pay those prices, but hypocritically, below the radar, we actually do all of these things because we want to have our cake and eat it too. That's the position we're in now. We say we're against torture. We would torture if we had the 9/10 hypothetical that Congressman King set out. We did use the information we elicited from waterboarding. We continue to wiretap without warrant, and we shot a man in cold blood without giving him an opportunity to surrender, and we all think that was terrific. Let's face reality. We're a bunch of hypocrites, and that's probably necessary when you live in a real world with terrible people. You want to comply with the highest standards, but you also want to achieve the end.
I think that it's important to understand the vantage point of a senator versus the vantage point of a president. When you're a senator, traditionally what's happened is this is always a lousy vote. Nobody likes to be tagged as having increased the debt limit for the United States by $1 trillion. As president, you start realizing, you know what, we can't play around with this stuff.